Welcome to the Pink Couch podcast. We have a special holiday edition. I was thinking that it's a season to be jolly, which can bring about a season for meltdowns. So we have Tamara Shaki with us today, who will provide us with some coping tips for this difficult season, particularly for travel advisors. And Tamara, it's funny, when I was thinking about us chatting today, it dawned on me that there's somewhat of a parallel between being a travel advisor and being a therapist. Because when you're traveling, your sense of anxiety is heightened, right? You invest money, time. And I realized on the trip I was just on, I was disappointed with some things. And I kept haranguing my travel agent, going, because I got the emotions were heightened around it. And so I imagine during the Christmas season, when emotions are even more heightened, people can get a bit crazy. What do you tell your clients?
The first thing that I tell my clients and me, especially when I'm traveling, is stop. Just stop. Even if it's for 10 seconds, take a breath. Just gotta try to land inside of your body and then go on. What we want to do is disrupt that anxiety. We just want to disrupt the thoughts, the racy thoughts that, oh my God, am I on time?
Right,
Was this right? Da, 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 da.
right.
Where's my passport? Where's my phone? I think we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
So just stop for a moment. You take that breath, nice and into your belly, and a long exhale. Honestly, it doesn't take more than 10 seconds. Think about it, 10 seconds. It's so simple.
Okay, I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Take a
In
breath.
fact, let's both do that. And let's breathe into our belly, into that
Okay.
lower belly, and just kind of go and breathe through your nose. So, and release.
And I never know, am I releasing through my mouth or my nose? I always
You
get
can,
confused.
you know what? Either one.
Either one? Okay.
Either one is fine. Just breathe through your nose. That's the inhale should be through your nose. And if you can think about it, feel your feet on the ground. That's
Right.
another way of just like really grounding ourselves.
Okay.
You know, it's one of the simplest things to do, and it's the one that we seem to forget, and yet it is so incredibly powerful.
People say it is, and I've experienced it, but I don't always manage to hit it. You know what I mean? And because I think our minds are so powerful, or we give them power, I suppose.
We
You
do.
know, you were talking about the racing, and I think if you're in a stressful situation where you're mislaid your passport, for instance, and you're about to board the aircraft, does breathing, is that going to break through?
It does. As best as we can, because sometimes that mind of ours is so powerful and it's just overrides everything. But if we do that, we actually are really interrupting that impulse to just like run and really forget what we're doing. Really, what happens in that moment, it's that ancient part of our mind goes into, oh my God, how do I survive this? And so, in order to stop that, what we're really, with that exhale, what we're really doing is asking the parasympathetic nervous system, and I don't want to get too out there with this, is that's the part of our nervous system that's telling us, okay, it's okay, we're safe. So if we think to do that, we give ourselves that second of what did I do with it? Where was it? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It's over there, right? I just
Okay.
need because when we stop, when we slow our mind slow enough, we have that opportunity to kind of go, what did I do with it? Where was it? Oh yeah, okay. And then we go on.
Right.
Yes,
Breaking that.
sometimes we just can't. But if we do that, at least we are much more present in the moment. So we can give ourselves that opportunity to look for where what it is that we're missing is where it is.
I'm coming back to the parallel in a way of a therapist and a travel advisor, even though I realize they're very different jobs. But there is a place where I think boundaries are really, really important. And so if your client as an advisor is suddenly panicking or is having a bad experience, they're probably clawing at the advisor with all of their emotional baggage, which gets attached to that experience, right? So, and I'm sure that's, of course, a big part of what you do, right? People are needy, 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 fix it, help me, help me. How does an advisor create that separation so that their world doesn't get sucked in to their client's misfortune?
You're gonna become a broken record today. Again, what I do in order for me to put a boundary around me so I don't get involved in their drama is I take a breath. I step back and I take a breath and I go, okay, that's over there. Let me see what I can do. Let me see how I can help. So I, on purpose, will get a bit quieter and go, and we'll do something like, hey, let me see what I can do here for you. Let me try to help you. What we're really doing is reassuring because when somebody is in a panic, they're scared.
Right.
The first thing that we want to do is reassure them. I'm here for you. I'll help.
I'm
I'll,
listening.
yes, I'm listening.
Right.
I'm seeing you. I see that you're in distress. That is one of the first thing
Yeah.
that we all want to be seen, especially when we're scared. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. So that is like that's key. And
I,
not just
I, I so want to emphasize that because when I found myself in that situation at that property where I wasn't happy with what was happening, my biggest beef was that they didn't acknowledge it. I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel heard. And my advisor did see me and hear me. Of course, that she was amazing, but the property didn't. And I found that knowing being in a service industry myself, that if you simply say to someone, I understand, I hear you, the problem almost evaporates in a way.
in a way, it's that part of us that really want, like, I'm in trouble. I'm scared.
Yeah.
And when somebody acknowledges that, it's like the problem might not disappear, but it you at that point you are in a space or in a mindset that's a lot calmer. So it can kind of go, okay, what can we do here to resolve this, whatever this is.
Right. Right. Oh, I had to take a breath there. All right. So let's talk about the holidays a little bit because that's always fun.
Mm.
One of the things is, of course, the speed, the crowds that just feels a little bit oppressive, whether you're in your car and no, the traffic isn't moving. You're in a store, there's a huge lineup for the cash. Um, you're traveling, the airport is crowded. How do we maintain, that bubble of sanity within the insanity?
One of the things that I do, especially when I go into a store or the airport, there's a million people rushing. Everyone's got their issue. So I sometimes imagine myself in a bubble, literally in a bubble,
Oh,
where
okay.
where people are doing whatever they're doing, but I don't feel as touched. It's not like I don't see them. It's not like I don't sense them. Of course I do. But I'm I'm in my world I try to really bring myself back into my body. And what that means is like I sense it. I feel my feet walking. I am here. You know, that whole saying of be here, be in the present. So I really try to do that. And when I do that, then I don't get as caught up in the craziness around me. Look, you know, we're living in some really interesting times,
We
let's say.
sure the heck are.
And it's hard not to get caught up. So not only, you know, with the holidays and the family and the presents and the, oh, did I do this? And oh my God, my credit card is maxed and whatever. And these are not easy times. The one of the first things that we need to do is make sure that we are as best we can. And we don't always make it there. But as best we can, we need to really be grounded. And the way to do the easiest way to do that, or the simplest way, is to feel our feet when we're walking. Be here, feel our body, be inside it. There's that breath again. One of the easiest way to get into ourselves is to take that breath. You know, I'm going to close my eyes for a moment, and if we do that together, let's just
Okay.
try that for a sec, okay? So one more time, breathe through your nose and release. And just really very gently feel your feet, feel your legs from inside out, your trunk, your shoulders. And if you notice that they're up to your ears, bring them down and maybe take another breath and then come back.
It's good. It's
Simple.
definitely, yeah. Yeah.
It's
Have you
simple.
been, what's that?
It's simple. It's a
It's
really,
simple.
yeah.
Simple's good. Okay, but here's a really challenging one. Your family's coming. Talk
Mhm.
about talk about pushing your buttons. You're in a confined space for a couple of days. You promised yourself you wouldn't be talking about politics with your uncle, or let's say your daughter-in-law has a tendency to take over your kitchen. It's your kitchen. She suddenly starts reorganizing, redoing, and it's driving you crazy. How do you not create a an issue around it?
Okay, so before you go full on crazy inside, as you know what you've met her before, you know what she does. One of the things that you could do is go, you know, as she starts to do her thing, go, honey, I really love that you try to help me. But you know what? This kitchen is a little too small for both of us. How about I give you a drink or I make you a tea and I'll do what I need to do here. Something like that. So you say no thank you, but in a really nice way. You know, like that's your boundary. I realize that sometimes it's really sorry, Nina. I can see you wanting to talk.
No, no, go.
It, okay, go. What's the question?
Right. Okay. So the thing I think the art here is to say exactly what you just said without having an edge, right, to your voice.
Yes,
And and I
that's
could tell
the point.
myself, oh, I didn't say anything mean at all, but it still came out like a sledgehammer.
Right. And so you need to be sincere about it. You also need to acknowledge to yourself. It's like, look, I'm angry here. I need to put that anger aside and really approach this person um, with care and be sincere about the fact that in their mind, they're trying to help. They're doing something good for me. Um,
No, they're not. They're just trying to be controlling.
whatever.
Yeah,
You know, it's we misinterpret all the time. We don't know what's in people's mind. That's
true.
We think we know, but we don't. Any more than anybody knows what's in our mind unless we communicate that. So let's assume the best, especially at holidays and especially with family where you don't want to create a whole big drama. But I'll be truthful. It's always hardest with family. It's a lot easier with people we don't know or with friends to kind of put that boundary. But with family, man, we just jump into our old patterns and it's like before you know it, we're out there.
Right. Very true. It is a challenge. Before I let you go, I would be remiss, I think, in not touching on the opposite. There's family, which pushes your buttons and all the rest of it. And then there's not having family. And I don't know what is more difficult. So I think a certain amount of isolation at this time of year is very difficult on people. And I wouldn't know how I would cope with that. I really don't. I think that's sad and difficult. And what sort of suggestions do you have for those individuals?
For people who don't have a whole lot of friends or don't have family, what I would suggest is what I would do is, do things like lighten up through watching funny movies, funny clips, and enlighten ourselves up through whatever we know works for us to feel a little bit better. It's hard. Look, if you know you're not going to have a lot of friends around you and you're missing family, you're missing friends, to pretend that that's not true or to push it away doesn't work. But at the same time, you don't want it to overtake your whole mind where that's where you start going down. So what is it that can lighten up your spirit? Is it going out and, going out,
Volunteering,
yeah, volunteering at a food bank or giving back, doing
right?
something like that would be great. Or if you've got one really good friend, then join them. But don't pretend it's not happening. But at the same time, don't let it overtake as best you can. These are hard times, for sure. Holidays,
And I don't think we can also pretend that the global, climate, which is so on edge, is not affecting us. I think if you're human or even an animal, if you have a beating heart, I think the global sense of anxiety is palpable.
absolutely. Absolutely. And this is also where I just want to stress too, it's really important to be gentle with ourselves, to be kind, not only towards others, but especially with ourselves, because we often are the worst critics of ourselves. It's just too easy to be
Right.
that critic. So be gentle.
Be gentle. Such wise words. Yes, indeed, because my goodness, that loop in the brain is the self-criticism is loud. And I think any sense of anxiety around the season or the world probably makes it even louder because you want to latch on to something that's familiar. And so the tape replays. And yeah, being gentle to ourselves and to others. Oh, thank you, Tamara. That was lovely.
You're very welcome.